Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. I'm going to talk today about an item that's in the press today. You can look it up on Google if you want. It's there. It's all about HMP WOODHIILL. We spoke briefly about this the other day, but it has been a serious report by HM Inspector of Prisons stating that HMP WOODHIILL is to be classed as almost an emergency, as it's in urgent need of attention. They found that there were a great number of inmates who were refusing to leave their cells because they feared attack and bullying from the other prisoners. The staff have been accused in this report of actually being heavy-handed in dealing with prisoners. WOODHIILL holds Charles Bronson, as we know, and basically they can't recruit staff. Now, I have done a little bit of research into this and had a look at the cost of housing in the area, and HMP WOODHIILL is located near Milton Keynes. And it's quite possible in that area to get a 2-bedroom semi or 3-bedroom semi-detached house at reasonable rates. I mean, we're talking about 150, 200,000. But at the same time, with the way that interest rates are going, that may produce quite a little bit of a problem for prison staff who are on 23, 25, 28,000 pounds a year. It simply isn't doable. I mean, especially if, say, you've got 3 children and a wife that's at home looking after the 3 children, and you're earning £28,000 a year, say at the top end, as a prison officer, and you're paying £1,000 a month for your mortgage. You're adrift, aren't you? You're not making ends meet. So they can't recruit staff. So what they're doing is they're bussing staff in, or it's called detached duty, and it's costing a fortune for the Home Office, and they're putting the staff up in hotels. And people who asked about this, well, the staff do not pay for the hotels. The staff get paid expenses, and what you do is you claim your expenses from the prison. And they have a civil service unit, which is like a pay office, and they pay you in cash usually, or certainly they did in 1970s when I was there. But it's a disgrace, and listen, the prison service and the Home Office, the Ministry of Justice, they are not thinking this through. What they've been doing is building Category A prisons in built-up areas where housing is expensive and it's difficult to recruit staff. What I believe should happen is there should be just 3 categories of prison: Category C, Category B, and Category A. Now, I believe that a Category C prison should serve a minimum term of 3 years, maximum term of 3 years, 1 sentence, 3 years. When you enter the prison, you're going on an indoctrination course for a period of, say, 3 months as an assessment to find out exactly where you're at. And then, for the rest of the 2.5 years that you've got to do, to something like that, you're actually placed on a rehabilitation course, which will include tutorials in sociology, social integration, and teaching a very basic trade. It may be something simple like painting and decorating, or bricklaying, or plastering, something like that, something that's always going to be needed. Something that you can do when you come out of the prison. It may be that you've been assessed as being particularly good at computing, so you have a school in computer programming, whatever it is, and you get a certificate to say that you've done all this. And so when you go out of the prison, you're prepared to be integrated into society, and that you're on the probation serve under the guidance of the probation service for a period of 12 to 18 months on release. That would be a Category C prison. Be no sentences of 12 months, 18 months, 28 days, 7 days in prison. Nonsense. None of that. It's 3 years, yeah? And if on a second offence, if you go back and you're committing offences and it's an imprisonable offence, then on your second conviction you'd get 10 years. And instead of doing one course, you'd continue to do courses. And there would be no laying in your cell for 23 hours a day. You'd be continuously employed, working towards a qualification. And at the end of your 10 years, out you go, and once again you're subjected to being on probation for a period of time under supervision of the probation service. But you'd be trained and you would be fit and ready to integrate into society and have a job. And for the third prison, the Category A prison, that would be for people who have committed really serious offences, and there would only be one sentence, and that would be life imprisonment with a minimum term of 20 years. After 20 years, you would get reviewed. Certain people would, of course, get whole life sentences, such as the murdering nurse Lucy Letby. But that way, society is protected, and these prisons should be located outside of the main centres of the United Kingdom. Sticking a prison in the middle of London is ridiculous. I mean, if we go back 150 years when these were built, Pentonville, Wandsworth, Wormwood, Scrubs, all the rest of it. Yeah, okay, we can see that, but not now. Now, this is the 21st century. Stick them out, put them on an island, the Category A prisons on an island, call them Vector. I mean, there was the Mountbatten report in 1968. Get the Mountbatten report out and look at what Mountbatten recommended. I believe that Mountbatten had something there. But what they've got at the moment is they don't know what they're doing. And they've lost control of the prison system, and it's really going to turn around and bite them. It's almost on the edge. And it's very sad to see. But that's HMP WOODHIILL. There is a HM Inspectorate of Prisons report out, published today, I believe. And you can see the results of that. Have a look on the BBC site on Google. Yeah, and have a look at that. HMP WOODHIILL. Urgent need of action. So let the MOJ think very carefully about the way forward, because they're not doing anything at the moment. They're stuck in the 1930s. They're stuck 100 years ago. That's where they've left it. Never moved on since then. No forward thinking. You know who I am. My name's John G. Sutton. If you're listening, Ministry of Justice, give me a call. Anyway, apart from that, this is Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. And that's the song Ding Dong Dinger, folks. And yes, you guessed it, I'm going to give you a song. Well, I'm going to make a noise. This is a song that I used to like when I was a young man. It's an Elvis Presley song. He really had something, did Elvis. You don't see that kind of thing now. Don't know if you listened to the Radio 4 this morning. They've got an artificial intelligence artist called Nanui or something. A song called Domino. And it just sounds like a synthetic Doctor Who kind of sound. What are we coming to? The days of Elvis are gone, but here we are, recreated by the one and only John G. Sutton. Yeah, I ain't the king of rock and roll. Yeah, in fact, I ain't the king at all. Here we go. I gave a letter to the postman. He put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back. She wrote upon it, return to sender, address unknown, no such number, no such zone. Well, we had a quarrel, a lover's spat. Alright, I'm sorry, but my letter keeps coming back. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. We dropped it in a mailbox. I sent it special D. But bright and early next morning, it came right back. It came right back to me. She wrote upon it, return to sender, address unknown, no such person, no such zone. This time I'm gonna take it myself and put it right in her hand. And if it comes back the very next day, well then I'll understand. She wrote upon it, return to sender, address unknown, no such number, no such zone. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Don't make 'em like that anymore. Can artificial intelligence make a noise like that? If it can, there's no future for it. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Don't forget to like and subscribe and buy my book. Bye.